So the right, for example, like voting right and dividend receiving rights will be different from you because the number of securities is different, right? So security is the proof of the right, confirming the right, and will be the core things that firm or the issuer will base on to give you or to distribute the rights for you. Like if they invite you to the general meeting, could you invite them? Could they invite you for? Could they give you the right for the voting right for some of the firm plans or strategies, something like that? All right. So for the ownership rights, that will be the rights given by the equity, meaning stock. The debt owner rights will be for bonds, government bond or corporate bond. And the financial rights, the other financial rights will be for the other securities, like, and for stock and bond as well. So aside from the ownership right, aside from debt owner rights, it will have the right to reserve, it will have like particular rights for the ownership right, for example, like joining general meeting, like I said before, the right to receive dividends, could be cash dividends or stock dividends, and the right to reserve the chance to buy new share in the market, in the primary market with a good price. So many other rights. Okay. The second one I need to mention to you guys is the basic characteristic of the security. So any type of security, from the bond, from the stock, from the fund certificate, and from the derivative, they have this type of characteristics that they are very basic and common for any type of securities. So the first one, any securities will bring you the returns characteristics. Any security will bring you the risk characteristic or features. And the last one, liquidity. All right. So we go very quickly on return, risk, and liquidity. The first one, return. So you can write down this one for me. Some of this appear in the slide, but some of this is not like in my slide. So please copy it down. If you see this, the left side, like the left side information here. So returns, like returns will be the dividend or dividends or interest payment plus price change. All right. Price change here is selling price minus buying price. If you buy a security and hold for a particular time, after that time, you will sell the share, right? So that will make the existence of price change. Selling price minus buying price. Dividend and interest payment decided by the issuer. But sometimes you get, sometimes you don't get it. Correct? Price change. Price change, this one, whether or equal zero. But this one, the preference in the price, it could be greater or smaller or equal zero. So by seeing this one, you can see like return doesn't mean that it will make like positive return for the time, but return could be in negative side, meaning that it will make losses in investment. So keep in mind for me, components of return. For return rate, you can see the calculation here, the formula here. All right. Okay, so this one is very easy one. Keep in mind for me, return doesn't mean that you will make positive return. It doesn't mean that you always make profit from the investment in the market, but based on the components or the elements of the returns here, you can see like it can come from the dividends or interest payment plus price change, and price change could be negative, so the return could be negative as well. It could be the case. I have this example for you guys. Please calculate and give me the answer after 2 minutes. So guys, this is the job. Let's do the exercise. 2 minutes from now, and I will call randomly to give me the answer. Are you guys done? Did you give me the answer before we go for taking a break, short break? Okay, let me see if anyone here could give me the answer. Lưu Tuấn Hùng, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, just give me the answer for the first one.
That return equal.
How do you calculate here?
Using the calculation you give, the return equal dividend plus the price at the end divided by the price at the beginning and
Divide or minus?
divide the numerator is
the numerator, but I'm asking about return, not rate of return. So we have to we have two terms here. With the first one return, the second one rate of return. So if we talk about return, that will be the numerator only.
Okay. So the return is equal. So the return is 7 equals 7.
Equal 7 equals 7. What do you mean? Just look at the case of A, investor A here. So yes. how I do write the formula here? How do I put the and on the formula? How do I write? What should I write here?
30 plus dividend plus 2.5 and minus 25.5.
Okay, good. So I will rearrange a little bit. So this one 2.5, the one that we get from the firm, and this one the change in the price that we get. We buy the share extra shares with the price of 35.5, and then we can sell the share with the price of 30. All right. So this is return. How much is this? 7. Okay, 7. So okay, just make this one first. Okay, the next one for B. So this one is like 20.5, right?
Yes, minus 20.
Okay, thank you. So, how much is that?
That negative 1.5.
Okay, negative 1.5 minus 1.5. Good. Thank you. Thank you for that, Home. All right. So here I need you guys to remember, because that can affect the result, the final result that you have. So here they ask you the return, and in this cell you need to fill out the return for A, for B, and for C. And if they ask you the returns of a particular investor, you need to remember that will be the portfolio investor. Portfolio kind of result. Wait for me. For portfolio return, like return on all investments. All right. So this one should be number of the share times return per share. So the one that Home did here is not like totally like it's not yet yet, right? We need to calculate return of A, in which A already invested in 1,000 share, and the return per share is 7. So in this case, for A, it should be 1,000 times 7. All right. And for B, that will be 1,500 times minus 1.5. All right. What about C? What about C? Anyone can give me the answer for that? What about what about the return per share? Fine. Return per share. How much is that?
It is a multiple with 1,200.
1,200. Okay, let's calculate.
No,
Here.
it's not that side, it's the other side.
Okay, this one here in
Yes.
here. All right, just give me the information. This information first. How much returns per share?
25.2 minus
How
24.
much return per share?
Wait for me to calculate.
3.5, right? Plus 25.2 minus
It's
24.
yes, and the result is 3.7.
Okay, thank you for that one. 3.7. Okay, come back to the one that you said. Why is it 1,200? Right? It's correct, but why?
Because that is the amount that they already sold.
Yeah, already sold. What about the other one? Like 1,000, the remaining one, residual one, like 1,800?
This is because the return, so we sell thing and we have the money that return to us.
Yeah, okay, good. Thank you for that one, Kai. That's really good point. So in this case, for the case of A and B, they didn't give you additional information, so you can assume like those guys, A and B, already sold out 1,000 and 1,500 shares in total, right? But for the case of C, this guy owned 2,000 and just sold out for 1,200. So for the returns here, they ask you about the realized return. Here we have, wait a minute. Here, we have two terms here. Expected return, and we have realized rate of return, realized return. Sinh lời kỳ vọng, sinh lời kỳ vọng và sinh lời thực tế thực hiện. So for the things that we are calculating here, those are realized returns, the one that we already achieved, right? So for the case of C, like Science just said, for C, she already sold out for 1,208. So she already collect back $25.2. 25.2 thousand Vietnamese đồng per share sold out. So she or he can have the returns of 25.2 minus 24, the beginning price or the buying price of the share. For that 1,200 shares sold out. But for the other one, she hasn't sold out yet. So there's no return. There's no realized return. But in here, you can still calculate the expected return. Expects that if I sell the remaining 1,800 shares right now at the price of 25.2, sorry guys, so I can get the same return as well per share, the same per share returns as well. It's just like it's expected return, not realized return. All right. So for the case of C here, it's 1,200 times 3.7, and expected return will be calculating on the whole investment. So This one will be 8 and 3.7 plus that 1,000. 3.7. All right. Expected return for the entire investment should be this. All right. Of which that 1,800 are not sold out yet. So this one is expected return plus the realized return we already received. So the expected return of the whole investment is this one. All right. And rate of return is just like take this for the beginning. So this one will be 7 over 25.5, right? And times 100. So it's easy one. Just do the same calculation for the below one. All right, so that's for returns. Do you have any question regarding returns?
No.
Okay, thank you. So we will have a short break for 5 minutes, and then we get back here at 8:17. Thank you, guys.
Teacher.
See you. Okay.
Why expect to return your
I thought the expect return is
1800, just 800, not 1800.
1800. What about? Could you repeat the question?
The number of shares,
Ah.
2,000. So it's
Yeah,
800.
sorry, guys. Yeah, that's my calculation. I'm not good at math, so sorry, guys. I just correct 800. Thank you, guys. See you in 5 minutes. Guys, are you here? Since the score, the final score will be in decimals, so if you guys open a trading account and make trading in the account, like buying and selling the security, I can give you maximum 0.5 bonus point for directly to the grade, like exam grade, if you do that investment. Okay, let's see. Let me see if anyone's writing here. Okay, Chan. For 10 Chan groups, since they already give me the information of the household and individual that proves that they already make the group work, so I decided to give them the bonus point, 0.5 for each of them. And for the other group, that will be the responsibility, but no bonus point because you didn't prepare and make that performance in time. Okay. Okay, we go back to our lecture. So that for returns part, any single security will bring you returns. It's just like is that return positive or negative? It could be both sides, right? And it could be equal zero as well. And remember for the questions that it will be asked in the exam, they may ask you to calculate the return per share, but they also same time they also could ask you to calculate the returns of the portfolio or the rate of return, right? So those are particular things. Just read the question very carefully before you do you make out the answer so that it will not lose any point from the final examination. Next one, the second expected rate of return. Okay, this is the other term. So you just need to understand the expected rate of return. Rate of return is the one that you expect to get from the investment, and the realized rate of return is the one that you actually get from the investment. All right. So this will bring you to the concept of risk. So the second feature of security is risk. Risk meaning that uncertainty, right? Risk here we have two kind of theory here. Okay, we have the traditional theory of risk. So risk meaning losses or damage. All right. So when you get losses, you will consider that one as risk. And the second one is the modern theory of risk. modern theory of risk, meaning that risk equal to uncertainty. This one is the modern theory of risk. This one easily will be employed by investment funds and usually used by investment funds and like institutional investor. And the first one usually used by the individual investor. And which one do you go for will be the one that will determine the way of risk management of the portfolio. So traditional theory of risk, meaning that risk will be equal to losses, meaning that if you don't make losses, you make like substantial gains or profit from investment. So that will be good for you. You don't need to care about controlling the risk or whatever, managing the risk. But for the case of institutional investor, they care about the uncertainty. So if you, meaning that if you get more than expected, that will be risk as well, and I need to control that one. I don't want that to be higher than my expectation. All right, uncertainty meaning that the difference. Here. The deviation from realized rate of return from the expected rate of return. Let me take you an example. If I have here. Oh, I don't have here. So I will take you an example to see what is like risk from the individual kind of thing. Okay, let's see this one. Investor A invests in 2,000 share HPG shares at the price of like 40,000 dollars per share. He expects that after 2 months of investment, he could sell the share at 45. So consider case in reality, after 2 months later, okay, so I change this one. Invested, expected, like 2 months later, he actually sold out all the share at the price of case one. If he can sell the share at price of 35,000 per share, case two, sell the share at the price of 32,000 per share. Great. Case three, you could sell the share at the price of this one per share. And case four, you could sell the share at the price of 50. Now, she say 55 per share. So could you quickly assess if the return is positive or negative? Assume like there's no dividend paid to A during this time. So the returns for the first case, negative or positive, guys? Quickly assess.
Negative.
Okay, good. So this one negative. The second one.
Positive.
Positive. Good. Next one.
Positive.
Positive.
Yeah.
Right. And the last one, positive. Way higher, right? So if we look at the case of traditional theory, I think for most of us, like the individual here, we will go for traditional theory. Like, traditional theory. Meaning that we will not consider that investment as risky investment if that will bring us a lot of returns, right? So for the traditional theory, for sure, this one will be considered as risky investment. But this one will not risky, not risky. This is traditional theory of risk. Risky or not, right? Risky will be in the mark here. And not risky will be X from Paul. Not risky investment. That's for traditional theory. When I make losses, for sure I will consider that as risk. So I need to control my investment. Risk management. We need to do risk management for my investment. Like I need to access information more. I need to be more sensitive to the market information. I need to get out of my investment in the right time so that I will not get into losses. But for sure, for the case that, okay, I expected to invest in 2 months, and after that 3 months, I can sell the share at the price of 45. But now 42 is good for me too, so I sell out. I still make profit. So it's not risk, that traditional theory. The second one, the modern theory. Modern theory is saying like risk, meaning that uncertainty. And what is uncertainty? Uncertainty is when the realized rate of return is different from expected rate of return. So ROR here is rate of return. All right. If this one is different from each other, then I will consider that one as risk, and I need to control that risk in the future. So if that, which one is risk and which one is not risk, non-risk, guys? Which case? Case one, risk or not risk?
Risk.
Yeah, it's risky, right? So this one risky, Second one.
Risky.
Yeah. Third one.
Risky.
Not risky.
Risky or not risky?
No.
Risky.
So I expect to sell the share at 45, and now I can actually sell the share at the price of 45. So it's the same like my expectation, right? So it's not risky. What about a fourth case? What do you think?
Risky.
Yeah, risky. Good. Thank you, Ming, for that. So this one, guys, risky. And the other one, not risky, is the case number 3, because I can sell the share exactly like I wanted. Why so? It's kind of stupid, right? You gain a lot of profit and you still consider that one as risky. But like I already write for you in a few minutes ago, right? Usually traditional theory will be used by the individual. There's no requirement that if you make investment in the stock market, you have to follow traditional theory or you have to follow the modern theory. No, there's no such kind of requirement like that. Following the traditional theory or following modern theory of risk, depending, it's up to you. It's depending on you. And if you go for particular theory of risk, you will need to make particular tools for managing risk. For example, like the case of traditional theory, if I am the individual in the market, I consider case 1 as risk. So I need control for the downturns of the market, right? for the upturn, I don't care. Because when they go up further, higher and higher, I get more profit. So I'm happy with that one. I don't need to care about that. I can wait for that high return. But for the case of modern theory, this one is scary. I don't want the realized rate of return to go up or down so much. I just need the realized rate of return to be exactly expected return. It could be fluctuate around like 1 to 2% from the expected rate of return, but not so much. Like, I don't want it to be lost, right? It's understandable, right? Same like individual. They don't like losses. So losses meaning risky already. But at the same time, when you make profit like K2 and K3, even you make profit, but it's not rich or it's over rich, my expectation. So I will consider that as risky. And then I need to like apply some risk management tools. For example, like I need to make more kind of updated assessment on the movement of the price so that I can make like very wise and appropriate decisions on selling the security so that I will not end up in getting like huge profits out of my investment. So why is that? It seems like stupid, right? You get more profit and you consider that on average. So is that understandable? It's yes. So I will take the case here. Case of pension fund. What do you know about pension fund? Do you know anything about pension fund? So this guy, pension fund. If you go, I think you don't have. So you don't have the course name like investment fund management. Sorry, not. What is that? The name of the course? The course, investment fund. So fundamental of investment fund. So if you go for that course, you will learn all things about the other like a fund in the market, including the pension fund. So how do pension fund operate? So pension fund operate by taking the contribution of the employee and employer. And the second one is like making pension benefit payment. Making pension benefit payments for participants. Here are the employees. When they get retired. So this one is corporate pension fund, or it could be national pension fund. Here, when you are in a labor force, you will have salary, so you will take part of the salary to put in the pension fund, and the pension fund will pay you in the future when you get retired. So that is called pension fund, right? So the thing here is that when you are in the labor force here, you're making salary and you are just 35. So you have like based on the old regulation of the retirement in Vietnam. So if you are female, you will get retired at the age of 55, the old regulation, all right? And if you are the male employee, so you will get retired at the age of 60. And you are now at 35 years old. So you don't get any pension benefit yet, but you are making the contribution. You contribute the money into the fund so that you can get the retirement benefit in the future. So meaning that the pension fund don't need to pay you right now. The pension fund will have that amount of money remaining in the fund. So what do? They will make investment. This one is institutional investor, okay? This guy making investment. Because the money is not used yet. You are not yet at the retirement age. So I will not pay you anything. So I just collect the money from you by receiving the contribution. So that contribution will not let alone, but they will make into investment like buying securities like stock, bonds, and some other things, fund certificate, other fund certificate, to earn more money for the for the participant here as the employee. There's some types of the some type of benefits. It's kind of not as fun to talk to you here, which is called defined benefit pension scheme. Defined pension benefit scheme, which means that this type of pension fund will make sure that, all right, whatever the situation of the investment, whatever, regardless the performance of investment is losing money or gaining money, I assure you that I will pay you this much of retirement, right? So because of this type of responsibility of the pension fund to the participant, to the employee, so they need to make sure that their investment in stock, bond, and fund certificate can generate the expected returns of like 20% per year. All right. So this is expected rate of return. They need to manage, to control, to design the investment strategy so that they can get 20% rate of return per year. So this is institutional investment funds. What if they can achieve that target? What if after a year they just get 14% per year? So for sure that is risky investment of this fund, right? Because it's lower. It's lower than their okay. So just make sorry. Let me put here. So if the realized rate of return is minus 10%, is 10%, and what if it's 40%? 40%, all right? So for sure that minus 10% is not like non-risk, but it's for sure it's risky investment because minus 10% is not 20%. So the same for traditional theory is losses, and same for the modern theories that is not yet the expected rate of return. So if realized rate of return is minus 10% of a year, so I will consider that on average, and I need to control that risk in the upcoming years, because I don't want to have losses. If I have losses, meaning that the value of the pension fund has decreased, and then I don't have enough money to pay for my employee in the future when they get retired, because I already make a commitment with them that I will pay you this much of amount, right? Defined benefit. The second one, what if the realized rate of return is positive? Like for the individual investor, you will love this one because anyway, we make profits, right? But for the pension fund, they don't like this one. This one's still risky investment because it's not my expected yet. It's still 10%, it's not 20%. So with that 10%, I can make some profit, but that profit is not enough for my responsibility to pay pension benefits in the future. So I don't like this one. I need to control my risk, and I need to make better investment next year, all right? What about the third case? The third case that, all right, I make profit, and I make huge profits. It's like profit of hedge funds. It's huge. It's 40%, meaning that now the money accumulated in the fund and the money resulted from the good performance of investment is way higher than needed to pay for pension benefits. I don't like this because if I have remaining amount of money that unused, or if the value of the pension fund is higher than expected, and I just need, for example, like with that 20%, I can pay the employees like 10 million per month when they get retired. And that's my commitment. For example, like commitment here, 10 million Vietnamese dong per month when they get retired, right? But with that 40% of investment performance, now I can have like capacity to pay them 20 million Vietnamese dong per month. But that's not my function, because my function is pay them the exact amount of 10 million, because my fund is operates in the way of defined benefit. So what is the remaining amount of money that's higher than my expected? So I have to control that money. So I need to give more time to manage that remaining amount of money. I have to watch more time in researching the security that I need to make investment in. I need to wait more. I have to pay more salary, or I have to expand. I have to make more expenses for hire people to control that or to manage that money for me. So it's more costless. It's more cost like occurring in the future, and then it can damage the profit of pension fund in the future. So usually for institutional investors, they don't like the realized rate of return to go further, like higher or lower than their expectation, but it should be close to their expectation. And the perfect situation should be like realized rate of return be exactly like expected return. The second problem to that is that the realized rate of returns and expected return to be the same could be say about the reputation and the skills of the fund manager as well. So they want the realized rate of return to be exactly expected return, to see that okay, I have skilled, or I have like forecasting ability, I have the management skills, so that it can trust me and give money for me, so I can make investment for you in the future. So that's the meaning of modern theory of risk. But usually for us, we will consider like traditional theory more, right? We need the value of the account keep increasing. I don't care about the huge profit. I just need it to be profit, right? Assume I talking too much. Do you guys understand? Do you have any questions? Okay, so let's look at the case here. The first case, to give you the better sense of modern theory. Like a person attempted to commit suicide by jumping in front of a running bullet train. So it's super fast train. You expect that this person expected that when he or she jump in front of that train, he will die for sure. But then the result is that he's still alive. Is this one a risk or non-risk situation? What do you think?
Risk.
Yeah, it's risky, right? So this one is like modern theory. I expect that I will die, but then I end up not dying. So this is risky. This is like the better sense for you in terms of like modern theory. And the case number 2 and number 3, just do that ourselves at home. All right, so that's for risk. We have several types of risk. Here I put down here for you guys, systemic or market risk. And we have the second one, idiosyncratic risk or idiosyncratic risk and non-systemic risk. Sorry, systemic. This one systemic risk, and systemic risk. Yeah. So I can like take a picture of the screen. Systemic risk or market risk. This one is called in Vietnamese rủi ro hệ thống. This one will affect all participants in the economy, and this one easily will be going with the macro indicator, macroeconomic indicators, or like inflation, right? Inflation, interest rate, and like so on, or COVID, right? Disease or COVID outbreak right now we have. That also considered as systemic risk because no one can get away from that risk. It's a beer. It's like affect all side of participants in the market. So there's no way that it can get away from system risk. So if you cannot get away, what do? Okay, just accept the risk, right? Just accept the risk. The second one, idiosyncratic risk, or the more simple name for this is systemic risk or specific risk. This one is unsystemic risk, so it's not like affecting, what do? So it's not, it doesn't affect all types of participants in the market, just affect a particular investor, a particular firm. For example, like, sorry guys, if this firm go bankrupt, it doesn't mean that the other firm go bankrupt as well. So it's systemic risk. Let's see the case of capital structure that I made out for the other class. The capital structure meaning the rate of debt or the rate of equity in total capital or in total equity of the firm. So firm A has structure of 80% equity, 20% debt. Firm B, 80% debt and 20% equity. And we assume that A and B are the manufacturing firms. So they are not the service or they are not services providing firms. So they are the manufacturing firms, meaning that they need to use this money into making a product, into production, right? So it's not like some of the case, for example, like if you look at here, firm A and firm B, you can say like which one is riskier for you guys to make investment in, A or B? Which one is more risky in terms of capital structure?
B.
Yeah, maybe B, right? Because they borrow a lot of money. But keep in mind that for some particular industries, borrowing huge amount of debt, right? Huge amount of money, it's not always risky if you have good cash flow in the future. For example, like those firms working in the real estate industries, right? Those are like they need to make long-term investment because the value of one investment or building is huge. So you don't have enough equity, you need to borrow. That's good enough. And the investment takes long term, and they need like a long period of time to sell out their apartments or house, all right? So it's acceptable to have that huge amount of loan. You just need to assess the ability to repay the loan. But for manufacturing firms, so like you just said, B could be considered as more risky than A. So if you make 100% of your investment into one firm, B, it will make it like it will suffer very huge risk from this firm if this firm goes down, right? But if you like allocate your money into firm A a little bit, in firm B a little bit, in firm C a little bit, then you can diversify the investment, and then you can like compensate one risk from one firm by the non-risk of the other firm, right? So it can reduce the total risk of the investment. So that is the way that you can reduce the specific risk, all right? So several ways to reduce the systemic risk. The first one, the systemic risk. No way to reduce if making investment like domestically, right? So assess the risk. The second one, unsystemic risk. Unsystemic risk. This one could reduce by first one, diversifying the investment. Diversify the investment. How do you diversify the investment? By making investment into a wide range of firms, industries. The second one, using derivative to hedge for the expected risk. Okay, so two ways. All right, to reduce the risk for the case of this unsystemic risk could reduce by, you could reduce, but this one could be reduced by diversifying the investment or investment diversification. All right. This one is called investment diversification. All right. Second one, using derivatives to hedge for expected risk. Could you give me information on this one? If you make international investment, what could you reduce? Could you reduce the unsystemic risk, domestic plus international investment? So you invest in Vietnam as well, and at the same time you also buy share from U.S. market. Can you reduce systemic risk? It is, guys. So if you make investment in Vietnam, you can suffer the inflation of 5 to 6% per year, right? But in the case of U.S., they are trying to get 2% of inflation. So 5% of inflation in Vietnam plus 2% of inflation in U.S. divided by 2. Assume like you make 50% of the investment in Vietnam and 50% of investment in U.S. So the inflation risk that you suffer is lower, right? It's like at the average of 3%, like that, something like that. So it's lower than making investment in Vietnam only. So it can reduce systemic risk and also unsystemic risk as well. Systemic risk. Unsystemic risk as well. Because the firm in US and firm in Vietnam are exactly different, right? So we can reduce. Remember that there's no way like eliminate. No, you cannot eliminate. You cannot relieve the risk forever. It just can reduce or mitigate. All right. So that for risk, remember that one for me. What are the type of risk and how do you reduce the risk or mitigate the risk? And we go for the last one, liquidity. Liquidity is the way that we transfer or convert the security into cash, right? So quickly it is, meaning that so quickly or high liquid will be considered as you can quickly transfer that security into cash with a lower cost. Usually based on, we don't have any requirements, we don't have any like criteria for assessing one is risk, it's high liquid securities in Vietnam. But usually for the case of US, they consider one security as high liquid security if you can sell the share within 7 working days. So if you can sell the share within 7 days, maximum 7 days, so it will consider as liquid asset. If you can sell the share more quickly, less than 7 days, so it will be a higher liquid asset. So that's for the feature of security. For the next class, we will go for stocks, we'll go for bonds and derivatives. Since bonds you have learned in like some of the courses, so for bonds I will not go into the detail, but I will ask you to review at home, and then I will review very quickly for you guys on the class. So please, for bonds, research or review this kind of information for me at home, and then I will ask you to answer for me or give me some information on particular part. For stocks, I will go in detail for tomorrow. All right, that's very interesting thing about stocks, how you can apply to make investment in the real life in the stock market of Vietnam. So for bonds, please searching for best information for me. Characteristic, definition, who issue, what the face value, what is the interest rate, duration, relationship between market interest rate and the bond price, and type of the bonds that you need to remember. Special features of the bond as well, sinking fund, indenture, callable, and compare the price of the bonds with this feature and those without this feature. When you finish the stock part, there will be a bond quiz for you guys before I give you guys the basic information about bonds. So maybe the quiz will be given to you at the beginning of next week. All right. So if you don't do the bond quiz, I will minus the score. Top 10 students getting the high score for the quiz of the bond, I'll give you 1 bonus point each. So please research for this and be prepared for the quiz on bond. All right, guys? Are you clear? Hello, guys. Are you here?
So you choose a group to present or any group?
No. For bond, no need to present. For bond, no need to present. Just like you need to do the research yourself, you need to review the information yourself based on the things that I put up here. And then we will have a quiz for this. Online quiz. It's just a mini exam.
You mean like
online
we
quiz?
have individual work?
Yeah, right. Individual work for this. So I will post the link to get you into the quiz, the online quiz for the concept of bond. And then if anyone cannot finish that quiz, I will minus the score. It could be attendance, it could be the exam score. But for those that attending the quiz, doing the quiz and get very good score, like I just said, top 10 students with a high score will be given 1 bonus point each. The quiz will be delivered to you in the online platform next week on Thursday.
Okay.
Thank you, guys, and we can close the class right now. See you guys next week, tomorrow. And goodbye for now.
Goodbye, teacher.
Goodbye. Goodbye, guys.